It's my first Dawntless stream on the new YT account. And yeah, so let's get straight into it. And then tomorrow I will be streaming Fortnite. I usually stream Fortnite on Sundays, so. And then Monday, I don't know what to stream Monday actually. Figure it out. But yeah, Monday I have to do a short stream due to work. So I pretty much have like a bedtime routine. Like I watch Netflix and then watch whatever I watch on Netflix, and then I just hit the hay. There you go, guys. There we go, guys. So yeah, guys. Sunday doesn't have to be a short stream. Sunday is a weekend, but during the week I have to have the streams 30 minutes long. And I'm going to back to school shopping, I think this Friday the 27th, but I'll still stream though. Depends how, but I might not stream. I might and I might not. Depends on what time I get home at. Because when I hang out with friends, I tend to get out like till like, I don't get home till like 10 or 11. But yeah, guys, I usually stream Fortnite on Sundays, so I might stream Fortnite most likely. I just don't know what to stream on Monday. Running out of games. If I don't have any idea, it might either be Days Gone or a game I haven't really played in a while. So, yeah. So yeah, I might not stream on Friday, just so you guys know. I might not. It's not a for sure thing, because I usually get home pretty late when I'm out with friends, so. Or I will go spend the night with them. Gliding. I'm gonna return to Ramsgate, edit my appearance. Alright. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah. Slayer appearance. I might keep this hair permanently, actually. Yes. Ooh, looks good. Alright.
64-bit Windows gets almost 4 times the score of 32. This is absolutely insane when I look back at these numbers. You know those times you have to go install something on your computer and you sometimes see that option to install either a 64-bit or 32-bit version. So today we're going to be checking if these two options differ in performance. So from the outside, these two laptops might seem like the same two Windows laptops, but in reality, they both run different architectures. On the left is the 32-bit version of Windows 7 and on the right is the 64-bit version. Will this inconspicuous change affect performance flow? We're about to find out. So while the starter test is playing out, I wanted to point out a couple of things. Firstly, the reason why I'm using Windows 7 and not, let's say, Windows 10 is because the 32-bit version of Windows 10 has virtually zero program compatibility, so I have to switch to an older OS. And as usual, these are both on the same exact hardware like on my previous test, but I am aware that the 32-bit version of Windows 7 can only do 4 GB of RAM. So I made sure to limit the amount of RAM used in the 64-bit version as well. Now, even though we all know that 64-bit software is superior in every regard nowadays, I wanted to see how much of a difference it made on performance compared to a 32-bit OS, if there even is one. So back to the starter test, I know startup isn't everything, but I always found it as the most interesting test in any comparison because well, it's where it loads up all the system resources and it can give us a broad idea of what to expect. So off the bat, the 64-bit version of Windows does run through startup tests, and it wasn't by a second or two, it was by a mere 7 to 8 second time period. And I can't say for sure, but I imagine that with more programs and files in the computer, the difference could be even bigger. Following the starter test, I wanted to see how much storage is being used up on both of these laptops, and honestly, this is the result I was expecting. In this case, all the technology takes up less storage, so if you're looking for an operating system that takes up less storage, make sure to get a 32-bit operating system. Just kidding, don't actually do that, but still, there's an interesting win for both Windows. Next up is RAM management, both capped at 4 GB to make it fair, and the first thing I wanted to do was a probe test to see how many tabs it takes for both of these to reach 3 GB, and honestly not too much of a difference. Surprisingly, 32-bit Windows beat out 64-bit, but only marginally by 2 tabs. And another expected result, so while both laptops are idle and not doing anything other than having Task Manager open, the 32-bit version of Windows took up less RAM than the 64-bit version, I'd assume because 32-bit Windows takes up less system resources. To start CPU management, I wanted to check what percentage of the CPU was being used up in Task Manager when the OS was doing nothing, and yeah, really nothing to report here. I usually add this test to see if anything significant happens in the background while the OS is running, but not this time, unfortunately. But something that actually is significant is the heat of the CPU. So after observing the lowest temperature of the CPU while nothing was happening in the background, the temperature difference between both laptops was actually very large. 64-bit Windows winning by a 7-degree difference, which was something I definitely wasn't expecting. And the same can be said while both CPUs were at their highest temperatures in their stress tests, albeit the difference was much smaller. And here's another one of my favorite yet more difficult tests to conduct, the battery test. And as usual, I have a variety of different applications open in the background to drain the battery, including office applications, websites, videos, etc. And I came into this test with absolutely no expectations because on one hand you have an architecture that is more modern, but on the other hand you have one that is older and takes up less hardware resources. And I was really curious to see what the results were in the end, which is why I find these videos interesting to make, even if filming and editing can be a big case. But anyways, I'm just going to cut the video since this doesn't drag on for too long, and we can finally see that the 32-bit version of Windows finally shuts off, but moments later, keeping in mind that the uncut footage you see is being sped up by 40 times, 64-bit Windows decides to give up as well, and it won by a 4 to 5 minute margin. Moving on to the Wi-Fi speed test, like usual, I did a trial of 10 tests on speedtest.com and picked the highest download and upload scores for both laptops, and for the download speed, 64-bit Windows wins by about 6 megabytes per second. On not entirely sure why this is the case because I'm not aware of anything that 64-bit technology has that would give it the upper hand in Wi-Fi speed. But what's even funnier is that in upload speed it does even better. This time beating up 32-bit Windows by 8 megabytes per second. So something fishy is going on and I don't know what it is. But to see how loading times compare on both OSs, I opened a bunch of applications at the same time on both, starting off with the control panel, and 64-bit Windows loads it up first, while 32-bit Windows uses the home interface to load the icons. Now I did speed up the rest of this so we don't sit around waiting for the applications to load, but next I tested a series of Office 2016 applications, starting off with Word. As you can see, 64-bit Windows managed to beat out 32-bit Windows, and there's actually quite a large delay in between. Kind of concerning. Next was PowerPoint, and it was the same exact game. 64-bit Windows loaded up first, while there was a pretty large gap in between while waiting for 32-bit to load up. Then remember that these are the same files and programs being loaded up on both of these laptops. Edited to the millisecond so I could be as accurate as possible. And the final Office application I tested was Excel, and surprise, surprise, the exact same deal. Once again, the application loaded up first on the 64-bit version of Windows, and loaded up dead last on the 32-bit version with a large delay between. I don't know if this is Microsoft purposely trying to slow down the application so that people would ditch their old computers, but I mean what you just saw was 3 applications opened up at the exact same time with the same exact results. And the final thing I wanted to open was a PDF file on both of these, and even though 64-bit Windows did win once again, at least the time difference between both laptops was much smaller. I think next time when I do something like this, I'll probably choose applications with more variety in terms of what they do, because, I mean, we just opened 3 Office applications, so it's kind of my fault. So moving away from application opening, I think remember a pretty simple audio project in Audacity. Both 64-bit Windows was like blazing fast, and it was truly rendering the entire audio project by about 2 or 3 times the speed of 32-bit. Now, for something like audio editing, where it's not as heavy as let's say video editing, I was quite surprised by the result. I mean, audio editing, at least in my case, not very heavy on the CPU of the CPU. Speaking of video editing, let's move on to video editing. So, using a video editor called VSDC Video Editor, how many times have I said this? I created a 1080p 30 FPS video project, and the laptops will both be rendering about a 2.5 to 3 minute video of some music and video put together. So, which one was faster? Well, 64-bit, of course, man, so surprised. It won by about 30 to 40 seconds, keeping in mind that the footage you see is being sped up by 6 times the original. So, you can short 32-bit Windows, but still, it's in a decent result. And here's a quick web-page loading test of YouTube.com. Remember, this is a web-page test, so no computer can see this one. And really, I can expect one to destroy another in this test. Even though 64-bit Windows is better than 32-bit Windows, we were so close that I doubt we'll get the test is better. So, next on the list is transferring a file from a USB to the laptop. Spells and I'm going to cut this short. 64-bit Windows won, but only by 6 seconds, considering that this is not set up for it. So this test doesn't really signify anything. The 6-second difference doesn't really mean anything in the real world. If I did the test again, there probably would have been a chance for 32-bit Windows to be shot to 64-bit Windows. There's always percent error in this test. And last test before we get into the benchmarks is the virus scan test. Again, setup footage, but in terms of scanning speed, unlike file transfer, 64-bit Windows is way better than 32-bit. Not by just like a mere 6 seconds, rather 40 seconds. So, wow, there's the result of the benchmarks. Now, CPU-Z, 64-bit Windows has close to double the score of 32-bit Windows in terms of single-threaded performance. But don't worry guys, it gets even better because in multi-threaded performance, 64-bit Windows does almost 4 times the score of 32-bit. Guys, I'm honestly blown away. Like, seriously, these numbers are ridiculous. The last benchmark I wanted to do was CD-Mark Magic to test the GPU performance. An older version of CD-Mark, yes, but for this hardware, it works. So, what are the results? Well, it wasn't as crazy as CPU-Z. 64-bit Windows was ahead by 70 points in the CPU. Maybe the ridiculous difference in speed was there in CPU-Z because Chrome was open in the background, and 32-bit that big of a difference. And RAM-wise, and even with the RAM, I didn't even consider the 4 GB cap that 32-bit Windows has. 64-bit Windows consistently kept winning in every test I threw at it no matter what, unless you consider the
Greetings and welcome to LVR Oddware, where we take a look at hardware and software that is odd, forgotten, and obsolete. This delightful thing right here is rather delightful indeed and rare. This is the STS Tecton CKS05V, a 5¼ drive bay CRT monitor, hooks up by a VGA, got amber monochrome going on, and it goes into a computer case like this. Let's take a closer look. Alright, so this is a rather special CKS05V, which is a 5-inch amber monochrome VGA display from those because it's the same as 3 5¼ half-type drive bay flash. It's got 3 of those inside of a computer case. It's just the coolest looking thing. Oh my goodness. So yeah, this was manufactured in 1997 for an unknown price. Information on this is ridiculously hard to come by, and I mean, the device itself is just insanely hard to find any evidence of, except for this one and a couple others, but yeah, only a few are known to exist. The serial number on this particular unit is what looks like 3062. So I just don't know how many were made, how they were distributed, how it was sold exactly, but I do know that STS Tecton is responsible for it, and I believe it is their German division, STS Tecton GmbH, which was founded in Germany in 1990 as a subsidiary of STS Tecton Company Limited in Taiwan, founded in 1980, and who themselves were an offshoot of Tecto Electronics and Machinery Company, founded in 1956. So yeah, even though this monitor came from Europe, it was made in Taiwan, and it goes back and back and back, all the way back to the Tecto company, which is massive, by the way. They started off making electric motors and industrial control equipment back in the 1950s before expanding their product line in the 1970s, as stated in this huge bit of corporate propaganda. Diversified into electronics, information and communications, and gained a foothold in the services. Like 5-inch. Among other things, like home appliances, IT stuff, communications, equipment, electronic components, infrastructural engineering, financial investment services. They just do all kinds of stuff, but obviously it's this lovely little amber monitor that we're really interested in here for is that little hardware. And this particular CKS05V came to me on loan from the Netherlands. A huge thank you to LGR viewer Kevin, who shared this thing online a while back and then graciously offered to share it with me. Send it out so I could use it for a bit and document the experience in video form on YouTube so everybody can enjoy it. And here we are. It's just a lovely looking thing to see in person, although you can tell it's very yellowed in a rather uneven way. Yeah, you know, it's been used for years in another system. Sort of yellowed uneven. If it was mine, I would retro about it, but it's not mine. And I don't have permission to do that, so I will be retro-writing anything and just leaving it as now what exactly is it? You might be wondering. Well, it was labeled as a file server monitor, which was meant to drop into a few spare drive bays. And one of those big towering server cases that you saw back in the mid-90s. And yeah, you could check on your system when I was looking out this full-size monitor and display. Pretty awesome. And you know, this wasn't the only display to do that kind of thing. In fact, there's another couple of drive bay monitors that existed back then, typically as part of a file server or telephone system thing, like the most notable one being the OPS 1000, and they had a very similar size PRC as part of the open phone system setup, which used a similar monitor from OmniVision Incorporated, but as far as I know, it's not actually related to this one from SDS Tech. And if it is, I mean, information is just so scarce on these that, yeah, you know, I don't know, you'd be able to tell you that. So, anyway, in terms of how it hooks up, it actually just uses a 4-pin Molex connector back here, like you get a floppy drive or a hard drive and other things back then, and it just connects to a 12-volt rail and uses around 14 watts DC power. And in terms of connecting to your computer, that's another one of the brilliant things about this. Just standard VGA there. So it can take up to a 640 by 480 VGA signal and lower resolution at a maximum 60 Hz vertical refresh. The ACA light, higher resolutions and refresh rates. And of course, following monochrome will take a healthy signal, but it's just going to make it monochrome and bring you see more clearly. And in case anybody's wondering, yes, here is what it looks like inside this lovely little cube, much like what we get in one of those under-the-counter televisions that you be able to, you know, sit on your counter back in there with a kitchen TV set for these monitors. But yeah, just a little CRT, and expect you to do what you need to, and you got power, brightness, contrast control right there, and that's it. There's no other adjustments, at least on the outside. Now, possibly you've already seen this thing installed in this tower, looking rather stuck, as the kids might say. But yeah, it became a bit of a viral star on Reddit and various computer forums and social media a while back. So yeah, that is this main monitor. I would just set the display on phone, not to kind of take, you know, save my fitting and stuff. But yeah, I will be installing it in this generic PC space, which has exactly 3 by the 4 inch drive bay. Really, I chose this one because it was similarly yellowed to connection going around back to your card. It's on. Monitor in the computer. And you can admire this light bulb little thing doing its thing. Here we go. You just start rotating in, and now we can start to see some of the situation going on with the computer. Yeah, Windows 98. Yeah, just seeing that. It's a familiar sight, on such a tiny little monitor, tiny 4-inch drive bay or 3 drive bay. It's really special, and the fact that it's also an Amber just makes it more amusing. I've always loved Amber monochrome displays. You'll have to have one in VGA. It's still a font. Just VGA going through Amber fonters. Yeah, there we go. Windows.
Alright guys, I'm gonna end this stream there. Thank you for watching. If you want, leave a like, share, and subscribe. Peace.
Awesome. Boy, you're seeing